Hey guys, what's going on? Today we're going to be talking about my 5 favorite shows of all time. I've been wanting to make this list for a really long time. I never got around to it, but I think I was finally able to narrow it down to a solid 5. So let's get right into it. So coming in at number 5 is the show Trailer Park Boys. Now you might love it, you might hate it. If you don't know what Trailer Park Boys is, it's kind of a mixture of a modern day version of the Three Stooges, Breaking Bad, and Ed, Edd n Eddy, if that makes any sense. But anyway, it's about these 3 guys, Ricky, Julian, and Bubbles, who go around trying to make money any means possible. A lot of times it's selling pot. It's filmed like a mockumentary, which is really interesting to see. There's a lot of moments that rely on the interviews after something happens. And the show also has a lot of underlying themes about family, caring for your others, putting your family before other people. So it's really a heartwarming show. Underneath all this violence and vulgar language, there's something truly heartwarming on the bottom there. Favorite episode for Trailer Park Boys? It's definitely this finale of season 5. I always go back to watch that one. There's just so much stuff that happens. It's crazy. It's almost like an action movie. And it's funny, of course, because every Trailer Park Boys episode is funny. Or Horrorgeddon. That's a classic. I always go back to Horrorgeddon. Coming in at number 4, we have the show Breaking Bad. Now, a lot of my favorite shows are comedies, but this is an exception to that. Breaking Bad is a very serious drama about a school teacher that gets cancer. He has to find a way to make money for his family to survive after he passes away. And since he's a chemistry teacher, he figures, oh, I can make meth and sell that. But then he gets caught up in the wrong crowd and he gets forced to keep making it even though he doesn't have to. You gotta watch the show. It's very, very good. At some points you feel like he's not even the good guy, he's the bad guy. And I'm sure you've all seen it by now. I mean, it's 2017. If you haven't seen it, where the fuck have you been for the last 5 years? Bryan Cranston. What a guy. I think one of my favorite episodes is when Jesse and Walt get stuck in the RV in the middle of the desert and they accidentally use their water to put out a fire, so they're trapped out there for 3 days without water in the boiling heat and the freezing night. They have to find a way to get the RV running so they could get it out of there. The entire episode takes place in one location for the most part, so it's really interesting to see that. There's another episode like that in a later season where they're stuck in the meth lab looking for a fly. Coming in at number 3, we have the show Lost. Now, I watched Lost for the first time probably around right when season 6 was coming out. Me and Christine and my mom, we binge watched the entire show from start to finish, and then when season 6 was on TV, we actually watched those episodes live, which was cool because I feel like Lost is such an ancient show, so to say that I've seen episodes on TV is pretty cool. A lot of people have just Netflixed it, which is good because you have to spend all the money on DVDs, which Christine did at the time because that was pre-Netflix era. You know how there's BC before Christ? There should be BN before Netflix, the Blockbuster era. So anyway, Lost is a show about a bunch of people that get trapped on an island. There's a plane crash where they're stranded on an island and they go around exploring the island and weird stuff starts to happen, people start to die, and I don't even want to get into the plot because the plot is so complicated. You really got to pay attention. It's definitely a show that if you miss an episode of a season, you're like, what the fuck happened? I need to watch the entire season over again. But if you have somebody there to explain it, like I had Christine whenever I was confused, it's a great show. Or you could just look it up. But don't spoil yourself. Lost is a great show. And don't let people shit on Lost. Just because the ending is confusing doesn't mean it's a bad ending. My favorite episode of Lost is definitely Tricia Tanaka is Dead. Season 3 is my favorite season. It's just so good. It starts out a little slow, but then it really picks up. But it's a Hurley episode. Hurley's my favorite character, and it's called Tricia Tanaka is Dead. It's extremely funny. It has the feels, you know, it hits you right here. It's a good episode. Definitely check that one out if you haven't. Coming in at number 2 is The Office. Now, I'm sure you've all seen The Office at one point in your life. The Office is a great show, hilarious. Steve Carell playing Michael Scott, one of the most iconic television characters of all time. Star of the golden age of TV. Truly a great show. It's hilarious, it's silly, it'll make you cry, it'll make you laugh, it'll make you feel the feels. It's just a great show. No need for an explanation. It's just another mockumentary in the workplace, taking place at Dunder Mifflin Paper Company. As long as you start from the second season, you will love the show. The first season's a little dry. You could go back and watch it after you watch the entire show, but definitely start from the second season. If you try and start from the first season, you're not going to like it. It's very, very dry because they tried to copy the English version. Yeah, English version, I'm looking at you. Not as funny as the American version. Because everybody that I've ever heard complain about The Office says, like, I tried watching it was so bad. And I said, did you start from the first season? Yep. Oh, I wonder why you thought it was so bad. My favorite episode is probably Goodbye Toby. It's a classic. I always go back to watch that. Goodbye Toby, it's been nice. Hope you find your paradise. My number one show of all time is, drumroll please, Malcolm in the Middle. Now, I've seen Malcolm in the Middle. I've watched it all the way through probably 5 times. This is the show that I always used to throw on whenever my friends were over, whenever I was bored. To cheer me up, I would watch Malcolm in the Middle. It's a hilarious show. Also has Bryan Cranston. Funny how Bryan Cranston is a star in 2 of these shows on my top 5 list. Some people say it's more targeted towards boys, which is possible because most of the stars are boys. Either way, I think it's a show for everybody. I think anybody can pop in Malcolm in the Middle and love the show. It stars Frankie Muniz. It's a show about a somewhat dysfunctional family and their adventures together and all the different brothers and how they always fight and torment the parents, and the parents, like, they're sex addicts. It's a good show. Just check it out. I don't even want to go into detail. Just definitely check it out. My favorite episodes of that show, probably the bowling episode or the billboard episode. That one was really good. There's too many good Malcolm in the Middle episodes to pick one. Just watch the show from start to finish. You'll love it. Those are my top 5 favorite shows of all time. Thank you for watching. Please let me know what your top 5 favorite shows are down below. And I will see you guys next week. Woo!